Fellow Toastmasters, welcome to our meeting. Tonight, we're going to do something a little bit different and have a roast. And we all know Bert needs to be roasted, maybe even toasted. According to my most recent copy of the agenda, word and joke, we are all going to benefit of Bert's infinite knowledge.
Surprise sports fans, but the word of the night is roast. It's a banquet at which the guest of honor is subjected to a good-natured, hear that, Nick? Good-natured ridicule.
Curt, you're first. Let's toast and roast Bert.
Bert Copeland. Let me start again. With his YouTube channel and his well-edited videos and his library of great information on that channel, you would think Bert Copeland has it all together, perking along on 8 cylinders. Wrong. Old Bert is nuttier than a porta potty at a peanut convention. Did you ever notice that the words he is saying are not always germane to the conversation we're having at that time? Makes you wonder what's playing in those headphones, doesn't it? And speaking of headphones, you would think that a guy with his level of technical expertise would use something better than a bargain boom mic headset from Walmart. Bert can take a simple subject and simply make it less than simple by simply talking it over and over and over and finally repeating what he said at the beginning of the conversation. We have to decide whether to listen to the opening or the closing and to put on our interested face in between. Bert is also gracious, unless you do not agree with his closely held opinions on just about anything Toastmaster. For instance, he tells people to read Pathways that is just like the manuals we used to have, but online. If you want to debate, refer to the simple subject statement above. When Bert dresses up on his top half for Zoom, he always sports, and of course not tonight, a skinny tie he must have kept even though they went out of fashion in the late 60s, and a collared shirt, and a sport coat. This indicates that he's a polished together guy. But most of the time he wears a ratty t-shirt. I wonder about what he wears. Well, never mind. For all his challenging traits and behaviors, Bert is incredibly helpful as a coach and a mentor and a powerful force in District 63. He tries to hide it in some of these one-off behaviors, but in spite of himself, his strengths are always on display. Mr. Toastmaster.
Next, we're going to give Sonia an opportunity to make Bert into a human pinata. Sonia, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster. This roast was inspired by a backwards meeting that I saw Bert speak at, and he had the glasses on the back of his head. He had his tie, instead of in the front where it goes, it was going down his back. That TikTok video, by the way, has over 1,800 views. For the next 3 or 4 minutes, everything that I say about Bert will be the opposite of the truth. I first met Bert at an in-person district conference in 2019. What stood out to me was how quiet and reserved Bert is. He sat perfectly still in his seat and did not say anything about his opinions. I thought, how can I help this man come out of his shell and express himself? I saw a styrofoam cup sitting right there in front of him. Everybody was drinking coffee, so I thought, coffee, I'll talk to him about that. I walked up and I said, hi, I'm Sonia. Do you like coffee? Bert said, no. I said, oh, did you know that there are people who grind their own coffee and the aroma of freshly brewed coffee just gets them going? And there are people who actually wear out a grinder because it's overused. He said, no, I don't care for coffee. So I moved on. Do you like exercise and health food? He said, no. He said, all I eat is junk food and I never exercise. And I'm like, oh dear, I'm really losing it. I can't connect with this person. I can't find anything that he really likes. And I said, did you know that there are people who post videos of themselves doing exercises on the internet? He's like, no, I'd never do that. I said, there are people who post before and after pictures so you can compare what they look like from years ago. He said, nope, no use for that either. Well, I couldn't connect. I thought of something. Entertainment. Everybody likes movies. So I said, hey, do you like any movies? Maybe a Star Trek movie that you might like. He said, nope, don't care for it at all. And I'm like, oh dear. He said, not only do I not like the Star Trek movies, I don't like the Star Trek conventions. I don't like their costumes, and I can't understand why anybody would ever wear one. And if I had one, I wouldn't wear it anyway. And he said, just as he threw it in, I've never even written a speech about Star Trek and Toastmasters. Well, we were at a Toastmasters convention. So I said, surely he must like Toastmasters. So I said, hey, do you like Toastmasters? He's like, no, don't care for it at all. He says, as a matter of fact, on the 2nd, 4th, and 5th Tuesday of every month at 7 p.m., I have absolutely nowhere to go. He says, I'm not at the Springfield, Tennessee Toastmasters meeting. I've never been club president. I have no knowledge about Zoom and how Zoom would make your meetings even better. I didn't earn my DTM in 2019, and I wasn't the Division F director in 2022. So I'm thinking, I really am not reaching this gentleman. I found out from that brief conversation that he doesn't like coffee, number one. Number two, that he doesn't eat healthy and live a very healthy lifestyle. Number three, that he doesn't like Star Trek. And number four, that he doesn't like Toastmasters. We just agreed to disagree. Toastmaster?
Kristen, are you ready to take Bert to the woodshed?
Oh, I don't know if I'm going to do that or not.
Oh, make one of those old TV roast look like it was a wonderful, sweet process.
I guess I could take a stab at it or a roast at it. Bert, thank you for letting me roast you tonight. I am here to let you know tonight that I appreciate you dressing up as Jean-Luc Picard. Save the glasses. I wish you would have gotten rid of them. You know, I'm really glad that we had to pray tonight. Lord knows you sure did need it. I mean, really. I had to keep my roast good-natured, especially since I'm completely politically incorrect. But Bert, you are one of the funniest men that I know here in the district. And let me tell you, looks aren't everything too. You are actually funny. Let's talk about your jokes. I didn't know that you were a dad, honestly, because those dad jokes were pretty darn good. That being said, you know, not seeing you in person for a long, long time, I'm not even sure if you've got the dad bod to even go with it. You are also one of the funniest Zoomers that I know. Doesn't make any difference at all what the theme is. You are the themer of themes. And you are the Zoomer of the Zoomerverse. You know your stuff. Why? Because you're a Trekkie. I know you are. You had to be. Well ahead of your time. You totally know your stuff. That means you probably know Q personally. And you're probably from the future, and you've come back to us here at Toastmasters. All kidding aside, Bert, you are a huge blessing to the district. I am blessed to know you, and I'm constantly amazed at everything that you do and that you've done for our district. All I have to do is just ask, and there you are. And now you stepped up into leadership, and are going to lead one of the divisions. I could not be happier. I'm so thankful for everything that you have done with Toastmasters. I mean, really, it would take an hour, maybe 2, maybe 3 to even scratch the surface of everything that you've done and the time that I've known you. Thank you so much, Bert. Thank you for everything that you've done. And hopefully my roast was not too politically incorrect. Mr. Toastmaster.
We're good. Nick's has a prepared abuse for Bert. That is a wonderful thing. Take it away, Nick.
Thank you, sir. And I have slides. This will be fun for me, hopefully also for you. Scientists have retroactively discovered the first ever human octopus hybrid, apparently the result of cutting-edge, unsupervised cloning experiments many decades ago. Is that scientists have retroactively discovered the first ever human octopus hybrid, apparently the result of cutting-edge, unsupervised cloning experiments many decades ago. Rogue biologists took samples of Patrick Stewart's DNA when he was a young boy and combined them with a newborn cartoon octopus. The results will be at once familiar and surprising. Seriously though, if you asked an imaging AI to draw a picture of a human male made up of a unique blend of nervous energy and a heart of gold, you would get a very familiar picture. This is actually an image of Bert Copeland in a YouTube video. And, compared to the rest of us with 41 subscribers, Bert is a YouTube influencer. However, much like him, I'm waiting for the day he gets up to 100 subscribers so that I can call him a YouTube influencer. It's when he goes viral. Bert is the only guy I know who can be equally generous and abrasive in the same breath. One thing I discovered in my research for this roast, that Bert was one of the primary inspirations for a rap song parody done by Weird Al called White and Nerdy. It's a parody of Riding Dirty or Riding Dirty. And Your Outgoing President was the chief inspiration. So as part of my research, Weird Al was not available for comment to confirm these unsubstantiated claims by my imagination, but I will present the evidence to you and you can decide for yourselves. I will provide selected excerpts from the song and let you be the judge. My rims never spin to the contrary. You'll find that they're quite stationary. All of my action figures are cherry, Stephen Hawking's in my library. My ergonomic keyboard never leaves me bored. Shopping online for deals on some writable media. I edit Wikipedia. I memorize the Holy Grail really well. I can recite it right now and have you ROTF LOL. Now, that's not some of the best evidence. Here's the best. Happy Days is my favorite theme song. I could kick your butt in a game of ping pong. I'll ace any trivia quiz you bring on. I'm fluent in JavaScript as well as Klingon. I'm nerdy in the extreme and whiter than sour cream. I was in AVA club and Glee club and even the chess team. Only question I ever thought was hard was do I like Kirk or do I like Picard? Spend every weekend at the Renaissance Fair, got my name on my underwear. Now, Bert is your outgoing president, and I do want to recite some selected texts from the Toastmasters summary of the immediate past president role for your own benefit, especially Bert's. As the immediate past president, you will provide advice and counsel as requested by the club president. You are expected to provide helpful, supportive leadership for all the club's activities. to the other club officers in a manner that is conducive to club success when called upon. Even when you do not agree with them, provide leadership and respect for all members. Be diplomatic in resolving conflict, Bert. I know you can do it. You do it all the time. And provide advice and counsel when requested by the club president. Bert, I wish you well. I'm proud of you. I think this is awesome, both the idea and the execution. And thank you for this opportunity. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Well, now it's the really exciting place of freestyle abuse. The gymkhana of torturing Bert. I'm going to turn the meeting over to Sherry Holt for our free range roast.
Are we ready? Is this a roast? Is this a toast? No, it's not a Walmart roasted chicken. And it's not a prime rib roast. However, anyone that wants to just jump right on in here and tell us a roast, a toast, or something in between, I think we have a candidate that's ready. Stacci, would you like to give a roast, toast, or something in between?
I would. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Let me share my screen really quickly. I will let you guys know that when I first met Bert, there was an instant recognition. It was incredible. I could not believe it. That is the first impression I had of Bert. And then came Captain Picard with Bert's face, which was really interesting. And then came a Klingon, and guess what? I didn't recognize him at all. I didn't know it was Bert at first. It was incredible. But it told me one thing. Bert and I were going to get along really well. He looks like Max Headroom, which is one of my favorite characters. He likes Star Trek. He can't be all bad. And he knew what zooming was when the rest of us thought it was driving around in a little bitty race car. It was incredible. Bert has always been one of my favorite people. He knows all about technology. When we went into COVID, he was the first person I thought of, because guess what? He already knew how to do all that stuff. And the rest of us didn't even know how to Zoom. I had no idea how to go online and do that. Bert has always come through. He's always been one of the first people who, when I say, oh, can somebody, Bert would say, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. And he's always done an excellent job at anything that he tried to do for us. Bert, congratulations on your year as president and now past president of the club. I know you're going to do a great job as our area director next year, and anything else you put your mind to, because obviously you're a very creative guy. And you're also my friend. So congratulations. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Wonderful. And that wasn't even half done roast. That was full done roast. Anyone else jump on in here, show your hand, and we can continue with all the fun of a roast.
I just wanted to throw out a few jollies that Bert and I have been through. Right when we were first getting together with Springfield, not the club, Bert and I, ends up Bert's the secretary treasurer, I'm the president. Oh joy. What happens? The secretary comes in and says, I've had something come up. Here's the checkbook. Goodbye. Only thing is, nobody's on the checking account. If any of y'all have had the experience of dealing with a bank trying to get in, Bert and I would go and play word games with these people at the bank who the only thing they knew how to say was, well, the federal government says this is all different from the way it used to be. So I believe we made 7 or 8 trips to Springfield to the bank up there before we finally got everything reconciled. Bert had some really good zingers as we were leaving the bank every time, and I really enjoyed it. But after, I think, 3 months, we finally got the code to the debit card for the bank. And all I can say is, if nothing else, Bert is a saint for dealing with those people. Thank you for all you do for us, Bert.
A roast or a toast. He can take it. I know he can. If a chicken can be plucked to be roasted, Bert surely can be plucked to be roasted.
I have a poem for him.
We would love to hear the poem for
Ready
him.
to hear my poem, Bert? You ready? It's not a roast. It's not a toast. He is the best above the rest. You are the max of all headrooms, the Jean-Luc Picard of the Toastmasters Zooms. Your sarcasm is the best, rises above all the rest. We're happy that you're here. You're the Toastmaster with no fear. The roast is almost complete, and this has been such a treat. Thank you for all you do. This roast, Bert, is for you.
Wonderful. And I know because you are a poet at heart, and that just came just right off the cuff, and I loved it. I'm glad we are saving it for posterity forever. Bert will get to watch it over and over again. Bert, when I think of you, or is it better I don't think about you?
Ow.
No, that's the better part. I do think about you many times in many ways. You've been a star in the heavens on TV Guide. Some people might not know what that is, but you were incognito. Oh, by being incognito, you were being a Klingon, I believe, on the cover of TV Guide, which brings me to another talent, one of many. You are the max factor of costume makeup and costume prosthetics, because we wouldn't known that was Bert on TV Guide if he hadn't have told us. You've been a Klingon, you've been a Borg, you've been a captain, you've been our captain, and now you're growing to be a division captain. That should be fun. On a serious side, you're fully dedicated to any project you undertake. And if you don't complete it with mastery, then you go, oh, well, that's life. I've heard you say that way too many times. We share book likes, movie likes, maybe now and then some politics likes. Oh, but that's non-Toastmasters. We can't share that. YouTube extraordinaire. We want to get to that viral, and would love to see you hang a YouTube plaque on your wall. You don't like exercise. You are addicted to a lifestyle, and that is not just exercise. That's everything. So that makes you the Mr. Atlas or the Arnold Schwarzenegger of Toastmasters. And we all wish that we could be as dedicated to our lifestyle as you are. You make a good example there. That's a wonderful thing. Your Trekkie knowledge, I thought I was a Trekkie, but no, you have me beat too. But it sure is fun to sit and discuss it. Love that. Bert, thank you for your friendship and your leadership. And thank you for your continued guidance, help, friendship, and vision that you see for our club and for our members. That goes a long, long way to be able to have a vision that sees so far out in the future. Thank you. We appreciate that very, very much. Now, anyone can do that. If I did it, you can too. Any more hands out there that wants to join in? And you see, Bert's, he's calling you on. Do it, do it. We need more.
He needs more abuse.
Yeah, he loves abuse. He thrives on abuse. So please give it to him. You may not have this same opportunity again real soon.
Thank you. So thank you, Bert. So you are the most funny person I have ever. So in Japan, Japanese people are also reserved and humility. So it was my first time to see the person put the tie on the back. So it was so funny. And I highly appreciate you to have to give an opportunity me to join this club. So my English is so poor, and I know sometimes you have to become a good puzzle master. So pieces of my word speaking something. So you have to set many pieces to the right position. So to all members, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much. Always and all time and all meeting. So you have a great opportunity to get respectable friends. I really, you and as members in this club and as a club. So all of guests tonight. So thank you. And I would like to meet you very much. So thank you, Bert, again, to give a great opportunity to meet all of them. Thank you. So I ask one thing. If you think, I don't know what Fuyuko said. So please be thinking about, oh, Fuyuko is enjoying this meeting. And trying to improve her ability in this meeting. So thank you always, and thank you to the future.
Due to my finagling with the schedule, most people don't know where they are or what they're doing. So I would say that is me personified. I don't know where I am or what I'm doing. However, I really, really appreciate all those people that came here tonight to poke fun at me. I like to think that this is a family and that we're all here to help each other. And sometimes some of us need a little bit of needling. And I first dealt with Curt, I found out that he really knows how to go to the meat of the situation. He can get right in there, and I really appreciate that with him. I learned more from him as a temporary division director than I think I would have ever learned as an area director. Any club that has him, any position he serves in, is truly blessed, in spite of the low feelings he has for some of my costuming. Sonia, you are so funny. How did you know I wore out a coffee grinder? Honest to goodness, you are like the CIA of. That's why you're in the media. That's why I love you. I just go to you and I say, Sonia, I want to do this, and bingo, it's done. And I really appreciate that. Kristen, I think you're a member of TriStar. I don't know. I haven't seen you there in so long. However, I have to say that I really enjoyed your poems. They're really inspirational. And the others that spoke, I can't forget Nick. Nick, I don't know how you do it, but those things you put together are just phenomenal. You make me look like I don't even know how to turn a computer on. And I really appreciate you taking the time to come here and show me how good you are at having the comedy in you. Because originally I thought you were like a very engineer type person, almost like the people in my club when I said to them that I wanted them to give me 1% of their time, and I broke it down into a spreadsheet for them, and they all looked at me like I was Nick Sager. Fuyuko, you are a true blessing to our club, and I appreciate, Oji-san appreciates your input. We had a semi-open house when we moved, and the only person that brought the guest was Fuyuko. She brought two of her Japanese friends. And I was hoping against hope that they would like our club so much that they would put up with us enough to join us. I think I've lambasted everybody. Andrew had originally signed up for general evaluator, so I'm kind of going to turn it over to him. But in the meantime, let me say from the bottom of my heart that I would not prefer to wait till I'm no longer on this plane of existence to hear what you have to say about me. It's great to hear it now. And guess what? Since it's taped, you can't take it back. I got you.